Jeff, tell us a little bit about your story from streets to church, bro. Tell the people a little bit about who you are. I've heard your story, and it's an amazing story.
For me, fellas, it was, growing up in the medium of the hood and everything associated with that, in terms of the collective thinking, the culture. For me, it was, and for many, I think it proved to be at least a few things. It was either you were going to play basketball, you were going to listen to your parents and continue your academics and go to school. And for me, that one didn't work for me. Hopelessness set in for me. I played basketball since I was in 5th grade, all the way through high school, didn't get a letter from any colleges, so hopelessness set in, despondency set in. And so my next big ticket for me was I was going to be the next Nino Brown. I was going to be the biggest dope dealer in Chicago, right? Because what I'm going to do with that hopeless, right?
Wait, Jeff, you said in the movement and your commitment through athletics and the desire and dream to go further, not getting that opportunity, it just crushed you that way for that hopelessness to go to that extreme to be the next Nino Brown. See you, I wouldn't want to be you off the top of the building.
And you talk about the streets, that's a whole demographic of hurting brothers and sisters who are laden with hopelessness, who have given up. They walk around, they function, but they carry that deep-seated disappointment from having attached a sense of hope and a future to sports and athletics throughout school. Yeah. So I was one of those. I wish I had somebody there that can catch me and redirect me and repivot me, to continue, to possibly go to a junior college. But that wasn't the route for me, because what was waiting for me in that culture was some brothers who had a business acumen. The wrong product I bid, but they had a business acumen and a sense to affirm me, to accept me when I fell from that ladder of wanting to be a basketball player, leaving school. They were there to catch me. And so with them catching me, they taught me what they knew. And I was on that pursuit to becoming the next Nino Brown of Chicago.
Y'all, we ain't going to tell you too much about Nino Brown. You have to look this up yourself, or we're going to pull your black card. If you don't know that deal right there, I'm not going to give you no hints. Google it, go online, and then you'll connect the dots. So what you're saying in the context of that free falling of hopelessness, right? You said something so deep that brothers out there in the same mindset with that hopelessness in that context, right? And they're functioning, but they're not really living in the context. They're functioning, man, in that way. So what else? How did that journey continue with you in that spot? You put your all in the hoop and didn't come out, and then you put your same all into this movement of being Nino Brown in that way.
Because that all has to go somewhere, and that's exactly why I took it. But in that functioning, right? Not life, as you just clarified. It was a functioning. God was still there, still had people, grandparents praying for me. So God was at work even in that. Fast forward to show you how he was at work. I think it's safe to say that on this platform, we believe in the redemptive power of God, right?
Come on.
So that even in the middle of merely functioning, he's still pursuing you.
Yeah.
He's in hot pursuit of you with his love, even while you're just functioning, right?
Yeah.
And so at one point, one of those drug dealers, right, real well known in the North Lawndale community, right? If I called his name, people might know it, right? And so he owned a multi-unit building, right, with a restaurant in it. And one of the units were vacant. And he asked me to meet with him one day, and he told me, he said, "Hey, man, you're not going to be able to sell drugs all of your life. I want you to meet me tomorrow at 12. I got something for you." And he handed me a set of keys to my own storefront, in which I later opened up my own barbershop.
Wow.
Maybe y'all can work with this for the audience. I have to admit that the affirmation that I receive as it was from God, but through a drug dealer, was so much stronger than that which I received when I was converted and went to the local church.
Wow. Ooh, that's a show by itself.
I struggle with that, man. I struggle with this man that would be considered a ranked sinner.
Right.
Who was older in age now, but saw something in me, declared to me that I wouldn't be able to sell drugs, neither did he want me to for the rest of my life, and gave me an opportunity to be legitimate, to go on a different path of life, and affirm me in such a way that I still hold that man near and dear into my heart, man.
And this was a drug dealer. And this was a drug dealer who did that for you. A drug dealer coming to another drug dealer saying to him, "You can't do this for the rest of your life. So let me show you something else."
Right. And I know who you're talking about too. Crazy.
Yeah.
That's amazing. That's why I don't understand why people get upset when we say things like, God can do things without the church, right? Like,
Mm.
I still believe wholeheartedly that the church is God's chosen change agent for the world, but I don't believe that God will withhold his blessings, his desire, or his productive will if the church can't get their act together. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like,
Yeah.
God will use somebody else and something else, regardless of what we as Christians think about it or them. And I think this is a perfect example, and that's why it's near and dear to you, because you know it was God. Well, see, the churches sometimes have us thinking that the church is good, like we do good stuff. But when somebody that was out there as bogus as you in the world, like doing stuff, and you looking, and they do something that was godly and righteous and good, you like, that had to be God. Like
Yeah.
God
Yeah.
is real, bro. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? And those moments I think we got to pay attention to.